had been separately on this journey for 10 years with nobody else to really understand what it was until we met. It was like, you get it!
But then we, for 343, or for Halo 4, they recast. And so they started working on the game with different actors. And I think they got like 6 or 7 months in, and they had done all the motion capture, and they called us in and said, hey, can you guys do ADR over, which means additional dialogue replacement, but it's what we do when we voice over somebody else's performance, basically. So we came in and re-recorded everything. So then we were in the same booth. So for Halo 4, we actually got to work together in the same booth. They felt like there was enough emotional content that they wanted us to be physically present to each other. So he came to Seattle. We worked quite a bit on that. And then from then on, I started doing the motion capture for the games. And you're back in the booth, so.
I was pushed back into the booth. No way, give me that little booth there.
So it has changed, it's been really different.
Right, yeah, the recording techniques, and yeah, a lot has changed technically from combat points.
So Jen, you said you're doing more motion capture stuff. You also transitioned into a live action performance of another show that we can't name, even though we can talk about Halo the game. We can't talk about that other show.
No, it's not live action. It's motion capture in that other thing as well.
Was there much a difference between recording for the game versus
that other thing?
That other thing?
Yeah, I mean, because when I'm recording for the game, I am one person in a motion capture suit along with everybody else who's also in motion capture suits, and we're generally in a big room with lights all around. You know, there's nothing in there. It's like a big warehouse, and we're imagining everything, right? As opposed to when you're on this other thing and you're actually on a ship, like they've built it. And I'm the only one wearing the motion capture rig, and everybody else is live action. It's very different because I'm dealing with technical issues that they don't have to think about at all. You know?
So Steve, with you being probably the most iconic hero in video game history, you've inspired so many people, even in a lot of cases, people that are heroes on the ground serving your country. Everybody has something that's related to Halo or Master Chief. What do you feel about that? How does that make you feel?
Well, it's humbling, first of all, but all of the credit for that goes to the writers of the character, because they really conceived a character who is the inspiration in his own way. He is complicated in his own way. And you mentioned, you know, people, I see a lot of, and have met a lot of service people over the years who are big fans of the game and big fans of Master Chief, and it's, and that, you know, at first I remember, you know, I meet, you know, men and women who were, you know, on duty in Iraq, you know, in real, you know, the bullets were real. And when off time they would come back and play Halo, I always thought that was strange initially, but it was a release for them and a way to escape some harsh reality. So it's an honor, and it's humbling to, you know, be part of a character who has that effect.
He has a quiet nobility that is very intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Very cool. Well, we've been having people lined up since this started, which is awesome. So let's get started here. Any side you want first?
No.
That side.
Oh.
Yeah. How about we start over here with our awesome. Let's get your name.
Oh, my name is Kevin, or Chuck Batowski, whichever works. Steve and Jen, just want to say I love all the work you've done. It's been great memories playing those games. So my question is, out of all the Halo games you have worked on, what would you say is your favorite memory?
I know what Steve's going to say.
When we did Halo 4, as Jen said, it was the first time we met. Well, not the first time we met, but the first time we got to work together. And it was such a fun experience for me to be able to have her in the room while we're doing the dialogue. And especially at the end of Halo 4, when Cortana's going through rampancy and those final moments, when you see the emotion and humanity that comes out of both of those characters, and in many ways toward each other at the end of that part of the game, it was very emotional to do. It was a challenge to do it, but in the end, it was probably the most rewarding time I've ever had doing voice recording for anything. Other than when I did that Sears Craftsman spot, that was pretty. The tool part of that. So
Thank you.
Hi there. My question's for Jen specifically. My favorite game is Super Smash Bros. Melee. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what it's like to record for a fighting game specifically, where you're told, we need you to grunt in 8 different ways from getting hit.
Yeah.
What's that process like?
There's a lot of that. So much of what they do is they have you run through your lines first, the lines where you have to actually say something, and then they'll save those for the end because they don't want your voice to get shot. So I would do Peach first and Toad second, of course. And so they would wait until the end, and then they would basically say, okay, listen, we just need, and they would describe it for you. Like, you've been hit by like something soft. It's not too hard. But you've been hit. Okay. So make 8 different noise. We're just going to keep it rolling, and then just do it. And so you just keep. Okay. And they'll be like, great. Can you do it a little longer? And then they'll say, okay, now. Not specifically in Smash Brothers, but in other games, they'll really get into how you're getting hurt, right? So I've done other games. I did a SWAT game, and they would say things like, okay, now you've been knifed, but it's a small knife. And then we will build up to bigger knives and gun, you know what I mean? So it's a strange thing to explore. I want to say it's fun, but it's also weird, right? It's weird. So they just roll, and you just hit it, you just keep doing it until they feel like you've hit it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, so this question is for Steve. This is part of the question. I'm shaking right now. This is wild. I've met celebrities before, and I am like, what is happening? Wow. I can't believe I get to ask this, but would you please, in character, tell us what Master Chief says when he doesn't have a weapon and he needs one?
Oh, I know. I need a weapon. Thank you. Good night, everybody. By the way, special shout out to the Arbiter who's joined us.
Can he see? I have no idea if you can see anything. You okay? You're good.
Hi, this question is for Steve. What was your favorite moment working with Keith David, if you did?
Speaking of the Arbiter.
Yeah.
I never had the opportunity to work with Keith. He's sort of a personal hero of mine. We did
Somebody has a crush on Keith.
Oh, no, big time. We did a convention in Atlanta many years ago, and he was there. We were on a panel together, and whatever. Anyway, I was the fanboy in that particular scenario.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Keith David! I can't believe it. But I just think he's a giant of a talent, as a on camera and a voice actor. And as it turns out, a super nice guy. So, but I never actually had the opportunity to work with him. But hopefully that will change someday.
Perfect, thanks, Steve.
Hi, my name is John.
Welcome home, John.
That's your question.
This question is both for Steve and Jen. What was the best game that you guys have recorded for?
The best game that we've recorded for?
Yeah.
I mean, you mean like as far as like the best experience? Then?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think again, we speak to 4, but I also had I had a marvelous experience doing Infinite because I got to play 3 different characters and really do some different stuff, and so that was a joy and a challenge to do. It was a real challenge for me, and I like that. You know, it's interesting. I feel like it's shifted so much as far as you said, how we do it and what our experience was. I always had so much fun going in for the, with the Bungie guys, just because they were silly and fun, and the way we did it was just a joy. So it's hard for me to choose. You're like, you want me to choose one of my babies. But that being said, Infinite was a real joy to do because I got to do a lot.
Yeah, I would echo that. That was, my 2 favorites in terms of recording experience were 4 and Infinite. And Infinite presented its own interesting challenges because we started recording that right before COVID. And as a matter of fact, the studios that we were in, we could see the
green room, in the green room where we would hang out and wait, we could see in the Seattle area, in Kirkland, we could see the hospital where they were bringing the first patients rush in. And so the paramedics kept flying by. It was a very surreal time.
Yeah, to quote the late actor, whose name is escaping me from Alien, and he says, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with current events, but we're getting our ass kicked. That was sort of the feeling as we're sitting here recording in COVID. It's like,
Bill Paxton, as
Bill
we say.
Paxton, thank you, yeah. So anyway, it delayed the process. We had the studio shut down, everything stopped. And then the only way to restart was for us to be able to work from home. So Jen's studio and her home and my studio, my home had to sort of be re-outfitted so that we could match the audio quality of what we had done in the $1 million studios in Seattle, in our closets at home. So it stretched out the whole process, much longer than it would have been normally. But it was an exciting challenge to be able to do it that way.
You had actually come to the studio. That's right. You were there for the weekend or something, weren't you, while we were shooting?
Yes, I was, right. Yeah, when Bruce Thomas, who does the performance capture for Master Chief, and Jen would be working in studio with all the little fuzzy balls on.
Yeah, right. Camera on my head.
Yeah, and I got to be able to, sort of sit in the room and watch it for, which was fun and also informative for when I would have to read, whatever lines I would have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say it is an honor to have you in person.
Thank you.
What is both your favorite Halo games to play?
I can say for both of us, we're terrible. We suck at this game. We suck at it. It's like, I don't understand how you guys can make them move. I don't get it. So I've resorted, whenever I get the game, I force my husband to play it, and I watch, and then friends, I get on the headset and I smack talk.
We need to hear some of that.
No, I'm saving that. But just know, you might be actually talking to me when you're online playing. So.
Getting roasted by Cortana.
You might be getting roasted. I just feel like my husband's okay at the game. I feel like he just gets slaughtered by 10-year-olds over and over. Truly.
Thank you.
Steve, do you have a response?
Well,
Just that you know.
the very first time I ever made an appearance on behalf of Master Chief was at a GameStop, and I think this was pre-GameStop, it was a video game store in Florida, and they asked me to come down to, I think it was the premiere of Halo 2, and I said, yeah, I would do it. Because I was in Chicago, it was November, and they were in Florida, so there was really no decision to make. But I said, I don't dress up as the character, and I don't play the game. So, just as long as you understand that. They said, yeah, well, they ignored the part about me not playing the game, and they were having a contest, the winner of which would play me. And I said, what did I tell you? I said, I'm awful at this game, I don't know what I'm doing. They said, don't worry about it. We actually have a pro who will be behind the screen, and he will actually be manning, your controller will be a dummy controller. By the way, appropriately named, because a dummy was holding it. And this real pro guy will be the one who's actually playing the contestant. So an 11-year-old girl won the right to play me at Halo.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, within 15 seconds, she slaughtered me and the pro. And you have never been more humiliated in your life than to have an 11-year-old look at you like, really? Your Master Chief. The only saving grace was, years later, I found out that she actually turned pro.
Nice.
And was on the circuit and won a bunch of money, so I didn't feel quite right.
I hope someday we meet her.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Chris. So you two have been voice actors for a long time. Have you ever had a line that you look back at and just go, I'm really proud of that, or are there any lines that you look back at and go, I really wish I could redo that?
Yeah.
Mostly wish I
Mostly
could
the
redo
latter.
that.
Yeah, okay.
I am very proud of, again, here we go back to it, the scene at the end of Halo 4. I'm very proud of that. There are always things I feel like, when I listen to anything, almost always, I feel like, no, I could have said it differently. Or I mean, most of the time it's, oh, I wish they'd chosen a different take, right? Because I don't get to choose which take they do. So, it's mostly that. I mean, I think we're always trying to get better, and so that's a part of it, is always trying to improve. I'm like, oh, I guess I think I would have tried this differently. But I am proud of that last scene.
Yeah, I would, most of the time when I listen to stuff that I recorded, I don't really like it. I always think that, yeah. I understand now when you hear actors who say they never watch their own films, and I always thought that was so weird, but I get it, because it's not a pleasant experience to, oh God, I could have done that different. I will say that overall, I was pretty pleased with Halo Infinite. I thought the work that I did on that, I have to say I walked away thinking, okay, that, and I had a really good director who was able to really, he really understood the essence of the character, maybe even better than I did, and was able to, do whatever he needed to do to get me to that point. And so I think the collaboration was I did a better job at it. And then maybe after doing it for 20 years, you finally get it.
Oh, I know who this guy is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, I hate being short.
I think you got some time to grow, don't worry.
But in character, tell me your favorite quote from every Halo game. Or just one of them.
Hold on, how much money you got?
Yeah. Just one of them. My favorite quote from the Halo games is when Steve says, Cortana!
For the millionth
For the
time.
millionth time. Cortana? Cortana!
Yeah. Cortana.
Cortana? No, what's your favorite quote? I mean, my favorite quote from the games is the one that I actually said earlier, which makes me very sad, but it's that part of that whole thing, which was, welcome home, John. Because it's, as silly as it is, it's the first time she says his name.
Is it really? Is that right?
My heart.
Is that so?
Yes.
That's the first time she says
It's the first time she
John
says his
in,
name.
wow.
Yep.
See?
When she's saying goodbye. Did she say his name in Halo 3?
Yeah, she says it in Halo 3.
Okay, forget it.
All right.
I hated that
I
line.
like your story better.
It's the first time I remember saying that. Well, I love it. You guys are like, no, Jen. Jeez.
Well, there's always, I mean, you know, I always, people ask me that a lot about my I don't really have a favorite line. My favorite lines are your favorite lines, and the ones that you ask us to do, and the ones that have become iconic with the two characters. But one of my favorite was, and going back to 4, and when Lasky and the Chief are on the flight deck somewhere, and Lasky's going on and on about, you know, just what's happened, and make some comment about, you know, we're not machines, we're, you know, soldiers, whatever. And that Chief finally says something after basically saying nothing for 15 minutes. And he says, she told me that once about being a machine. And I like that line. I was, okay, here's the deal.
Here we go.
I was supposed to take care of you.
We were supposed to take care of each other. And we did.
Literal chills.
Oh, we gotta go fast, you guys. We're gonna get 3. We're gonna do it.
Alright, so this is for both of you. Jen, you made me laugh yesterday when you said you weren't aware that Chief and Cortana were a thing, as they say. And you know, the fun thing about sci-fi stories like Halo is how they kind of unwittingly predict the future.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you guys think AI-human relations are headed, and should we be excited? Why would you ask that?
Well, let me continue this. I'll fill out the story that we were talking about. I said, I never really thought about it being a romantic relationship. And he said, but what about the moment when she like touches him and said, I've waited so long to do this at the end of 4? And I thought, oh yeah. And then we were doing a panel. It was me and you and Bruce. And somebody said the same thing. When did you know that this was a romantic thing? And Bruce was like, and I said, oh, I don't think I know. And Bruce looked at me and he was like, what are you talking about? I've always known this was a what? And you said something similar, and I thought, oh, okay, I don't know, but how is it going to see in the future? I don't know. I mean, come on, how? I'm just going to tap dance up here for a minute. My voice would be the one escorting us off the planet, and that would be surreal for me. Right? Right?
Yeah. Well, the whole AI thing is complicated, and for us as actors, it's a very serious thing.
Particularly so.
You know, the strike that's happening right now with the Screen Actors Guild and the theatrical contract is in part about that, about being replaced, you know, by artificial intelligence, and it's not a great leap at all to extend that into a video game performance. And so, yeah, we're a little concerned about it. And I mean, I've already heard. I was at a show convention a few months ago, and somebody came up to the table and gave me their phone, and I was listening to Master Chief give dating advice and job interview advice and you know, all this kind of stuff in my voice. And I listened to it for probably 5 minutes before I was absolutely convinced it was not me. And it wasn't somebody doing an imitation of me, it was artificial intelligence who had taken whatever algorithm you need to do to replicate somebody's voice. And it was damn close. And that's me. So if I can't tell the difference, you're not going to tell the difference. So it's a legitimate concern that we're very concerned about, and we really, you know, I mean, for selfish reasons, because we want jobs, but we also want a real performance. And I think AI, for as sophisticated as it is technically, it's still got to come from here. And you know, we would like that to maintain in all art as much as possible.
I take it back. That's actually a pretty good question. It's very important. But it's been since 2019 since I actually met you guys at Houston for Halo Outposts Discovery.
Halo Outposts,
Yeah, wonderful times. And it would be a dishonor for me to ask this particular question, especially if there's any Rooster Teeth, Red vs. Blue fans out here. I want you to answer me in your respective roles. Do you ever wonder why we're here?
I know why we're here. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know what you're talking about. But you've actually done some stuff with Rooster Teeth, have you not? Yeah.
No, you need to say Cortana.
Yeah, when in doubt, Cortana.
Thank you so much.
Hi. When did you realize Halo was going to be this big?
I think I was after Halo 3, they asked me to do something called the Cortana Chronicles. And I was gonna travel around and meet fans, and surprise fans, which I did. You can watch it it's on YouTube, I think. But the story more became about me going, wow, people really like this. So I feel like it was then that I sort of got an inkling, personally.
Yeah, if you don't get if you haven't seen the Cortana Chronicles, you should check it out. I'm sure it's available on YouTube.
It's on YouTube,
somewhere.
yeah.
It's really fun. I mean, you travel all over the world, right?
I went to Sweden and Ireland. I talked to the lead singer of Bare Naked Ladies. That was actually really funny. He was like, yeah, I like Halo, it's okay. I was like, oh, because I voiced Cortana. And he went, oh my God! Out. It was really cute.
When Halo came out, you know, when you're done with the job in voiceover, you're done. And you walk in, now your focus is on the next thing. So I completely forgot about the sessions I did for Halo. I didn't play the game, so I wasn't in the gamer world. I didn't know what was going on. And I went down to visit a friend of mine in Florida. And,
all things happen in Florida.
yeah, apparently. More than we care to know. But
a Florida man.
Florida man finds Halo. But I was staying at a friend's house, and the kids were playing the game one day, and I walked through the living room, and it jarred my memory, and I said, oh, you know, I voiced a character in that game. And they're both who? And I said, I don't remember his name, but I think he was kind of the main guy in the game, and they said Master Chief. Yeah, it was Master Chief. 15 minutes later, there's 35 kids outside this building with Xboxes and copies of the game wanting inside. And that was my introduction to the fact that we had hitched our wagon to a pretty successful game. Took off from it.
I guess I was hiding under a rock for a longer time.
And I asked you to put this on the signing. Can you say this in voice? Jen, what if you miss? And Steve, I won't.
What if you miss?
I won't.
Okay, so now we were wondering, is it what if you miss or what if we miss? It's you, right? Yeah. I was trying to write that and somebody kept telling me, no, it's what if we miss. And I was like, okay, I guess I don't know the game.
What do I know?
I didn't say that.
But you thought.
Hi.
Hello. So my question kind of ended up getting answered piecemeal. So I just want to say, I never saw Cortana Master Chief as a romance. I saw it as a buddy cop. So you are not alone in that.
Okay, yeah, they're in the trenches together, right? Yeah, all right. It can be whatever you want it to be. That is the beauty of art, right? I mean, I truly think that. It is what you want it to be. And if that is powerful for you, I don't want to make you feel like I don't think that. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's what you want it to be. It is what it means to you. So,
Thank you.
This is my first time at FanX as well.
We're noobs together.
So I guess I'll just say, first game I ever played was Halo 1 and I loved it, and it shaped my whole video game, not career, but I play a lot, so. Anyone have a good question I can ask him? Something like that's all.
I really like peanut butter. It's one of my favorite foods. And blue. 26. I'm just gonna keep coming up with answers.
I guess.
Lilies.
What's your favorite foods? I don't know what else to ask.
Peanut butter. I really like peanut butter.
That's your favorite food?
I eat peanut butter at probably every meal. I really love peanut butter. It's weird.
You think you know a person.
There's this great peanut butter in England called, I think it's Pippin Nut. Pippin Nut is what I think it's called. Oh man, it's worth it to go to London just to get that peanut butter.
Well, I guess that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Alright, so first of all, I want to say thank you guys. I've been playing Halo since I've been 7. So...
Where were your parents?
My dad...
Were you a latchkey kid?
My dad was telling me let me play.
Nice.
So my question for you guys is, with the exception of the Master Chief, who is your favorite Spartan and why?
I don't have a thing. Master Chief's the only Spartan. For me. Wow, I'm really confusing you guys, aren't I?
Yeah, I can't think of it. It was when we did the animated Legends. Was it Legend? No. The Fall of Reach. And the Spartan that died.
Sam.
Yeah, he's my favorite. That guy.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, Chef.
Well,
Yes, Chef.
I was going to ask about red versus blue, like half the game. Rare, well done.
Rare or well done?
Oh, neither, but if I had to choose, it would be rare. Medium rare, really. Who knew?
I do my best not to eat the four-legged babies, so yeah, sorry.
Okay, thanks for autographing my games.
You're welcome.
And I've been a huge Halo fan for many years. And it's brought me out of some of the darkest times in my personal life to play the campaigns, to know that there was always hope. My question is this. If you've ever read the novels, which one is your favorite novel from Halo and why from both of them?
Mine was Fall of Reach. It was the first one I read, and it, interestingly, gave me a lot of information about my character that I did not know. So that was, and about Chief that I didn't know. I mean, just from voicing the game, I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, now I get it. Because we're not, yeah, we're not given that information. So I have a fondness for that one. Yeah, and I also met Eric Nyland. So that was.
Yeah, well, Fall of Reach definitely was a huge eye-opener, and just a good read, and I enjoyed it. But I also enjoy the Troy Denning series. He's here, by the way. He was here this weekend. Is he still here? I like his with Silent Storm, and he's got several that I enjoy. And I actually was able to do an excerpt, an audio book excerpt. His books and this kind of thing. So yeah, if you haven't read his stuff, I think it's pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay, so you told us your favorite quote, but between Halo 1 and 3, can you tell us your favorite one-liner each? It could be from any character, your own character, Sergeant Johnson, the Arbiter, favorite
Yeah,
one-liner.
anything Sergeant Johnson says.
Anything Sergeant Johnson says.
Right? I wish we could get David Scully to come to one of these, but you know, he's shy. He's shy. What was that? Next year, we'll force him. Yeah, anything David Scully says. I really like the grunts. I think Joe Staten does some of my favorite lines, or just noises. Steve?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of an Arbiter line that would be my favorite if I could think of it, but I can't.
I mean, I did enjoy saying, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. I mean, that's it.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jacob, and I would like to know the funny story that you have had while working on the Halo series.
The funniest story that you have had, I mean, just randomly or involving Halo?
You're right. Involving Halo, yes.
Yeah.
When I was doing Halo 5 Guardians, if you recall, they did what was a promotional video for the game, and it turned out to have nothing to do with the game. But Agent Locke was in it, and if you remember, they did one was shot where Locke was about to finish off Master Chief, and then they shot the exact same scene again, reversed the characters. Again, none of this ended up in the game, and I think people were a little pissed off about it because it said something, it suggested something that didn't happen. But in recording that, there was a line, that first of all, I had more lines as Master Chief than I think I'd had in the first 4 games combined, just doing that session. And trying to work up the passion and everything. And you're in a pretty sterile recording booth. So I needed to focus on something that would represent Agent Locke. And there was a hapless Fender Telecaster in the studio that became the object of my rage. I'm sure if you were outside on the other side of the glass, it must have looked pretty damn funny to see this grown man yelling at a guitar. And respecting the response. I
don't know how funny this is, but I always get nervous when somebody asks me to tell them a funny story. I don't know, it's funny. When I was doing Halo 5, they had an actual stunt team. Because those things that you see them do, they had stunt performers doing them, and they were amazing. And I got to sit there and watch them. And they had this one gymnast who just blew my mind. They had all these levels set up, and they'd be like, okay, so we're thinking like a back handspring and to flip, and then you fly off the thing and you land and you roll. And she's like, okay, like this? She'd do it, right? And you go, no, more of it, we need a twist in there. And she's like, okay, and she'd run back up and she'd do this crazy twist. And I walked over to her and I said, I'm losing my mind watching you, you're amazing. She was a competitive gymnast who had stopped doing that because she got older. So she was a stunt person now. And she said, oh, well, I can't talk. I can only flip. I was like, okay, we all have our roles. We all have our roles.
Thank you guys.
So, I've never been starstruck before. Until now, first year, didn't even know you guys were going to be here. Still shaking. I was going to ask you to actually, Jen, quote, "Don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep
Did
it."
it. Do it again if you like.
Already done it.
Don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it.
College, and that was the only thing that kept me sane. So, thank you guys. I love you.
I often hear from people, you're the reason I got through college, or you're the reason I didn't get through college.
Okay, we got 5 minutes, you guys. We're gonna do
Lightning
this.
round.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Gustavo. I met Steve in Level Up Expo in February.
Yes.
And when Steve, you mentioned Jen originally was supposed to attend, I was so heartbroken, but he did cheer me up when, we all sang her happy birthday song, happy birthday Cortana, happy birthday Halsey.
That was your birthday?
I was in Budapest. Yeah.
Yeah, but Halo 4 has a really soft spot in my heart because I got picked on pretty severely. And it got worse in junior high, but the one that kept me going is the Return to Master Chief, the Return of Cortana. I remember vividly just jumping up in front of my brother when he was sleeping, like, Halo 4's out, take him to Gears Lock, take him to Gears Lock, take him to Gears Lock. I even did school. Not good, I know, but worth it. But I was wondering if you could quote a line from Halo 4 in character, but kind of like a joke. Halo 3, Halo 4, like, pretend Chief is at a bar, he's had quite a few, and he's like, wake me when you need me. Then just say, 5 seconds. Wake up, Chief, I need you.
So Chief is drunk and we're at a bar.
Yeah.
I think Chief has had to have a lot to get Chief drunk. Yeah, uh-oh, here it is.
Wake me when you...
Wake up, Chief, I need you.
I'm up.
I wanted to know what you think rampancy feels like. Also, Cortana, could you say welcome home Robin to my girlfriend crying happy tears in the back?
Welcome home, Robin. I have to believe that rampancy feels a little bit like, the things that I thought about it were what it feels like maybe when you, and I mean this with all seriousness, when you are bipolar and you're off your meds. I believe that must be when you are fighting with yourself in your, internally, and you don't know what's up. That was, I don't want to joke about that because it was I took that very, very seriously, that moment, because I think she is, it's scary. It's really scary for her too. So I want to be very serious about that moment. I took that. I had a lot of respect for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My question for you guys is, how is it going from the relationship between Master Chief and Cortana to Master Chief and the weapon?
Good question.
I love the weapon. I think she's so charming and cute. I just really like her a lot.
Well,
There's a lot of Jen Taylor in that too, so I'm a little biased because I'm like that. Yeah.
And as you know, I needed a weapon for some time, so that was one of the really fun things about Infinite, and two thoughts come to mind. First of all, this woman's performance in that game was off the charts. She's playing 3 different characters, all of which are similar and yet are different, and her task to be able to bring Cortana to the front when it was time, or bring the weapon to the front, or bring Halsey to the front, and be able to do that, and you understand, the differences and the similarities. I just think it was a tour de force of acting, in my opinion. But the Chief's interaction with the weapon is brings out another side of him. And it's, again, trying to explore the relationships between the chief of Cortana, the chief of Halsey, the chief of the weapon. It was a different, there was a little more of a parental.
It almost feels fatherly to me.
Yeah. So he's, and trusting but not trusting. Where with Cortana, up until the very end, he had absolute trust in her. With the weapons thing, I've seen this movie. I'm not sure how it's going to go.
Done this before. Yeah.
Thank you. One more, sorry guys. We gotta say goodbye.
My question is actually about the weapon actually as well. Do you guys know the name of what the weapon's going to be before it is? Because I know there's a whole Dramo, Cortana. Is it Joyous? Is it Joy? Can you guys say, or do you not know?
We weren't told, but we can make things up.
What would you like it to be?
I think it's Murgatroyd.
I'm going with Louise.
No.
Louise. Center Waypoint Louise. Right?
Please try that with Murgatroyd.
Murgatroyd. Center Waypoint.